My name is Alex Chiu. I'm a painter and muralist living in Portland. This has all been a new journey for me. I've been painting murals for about 5 years, and I'm really amazed that it's really become a substantial career for me. And I think that the idea that people are allowing me to do that is an amazing thing. Telling the stories of people in the community and depicting those images and highlighting local histories and getting to know sort of the cultural history of Portland, it's made me really appreciate where I'm at and given me a sense of purpose as I've been here. The mural is located at the Octapharma Plasma Center that's on the corner of 122nd and Powell. 122nd and Powell is a very busy intersection. I feel like there's a lot of energy of all sorts. It's not super interesting, but there's a lot of everyday places of business. So there's always a heavy flow of people coming through that area. My intentions for this mural was to bring a sense of nature and softness and color to the neighborhood. The aspects of the community that I wanted to capture were the cultural diversity of the area. There really are people of all backgrounds that come here, and I wanted to make sure that people felt represented. What I was learning is that it's a destination spot or a place where a lot of immigrant and refugee populations end up congregating. Part of it is because there's resources. I think there's cultural centers for Somali folks, people of South Asian descent who come here, and people who don't necessarily have English as their first language. And there's definitely a very vibrant, diverse culture around here. There's international supermarkets and all types of cultural businesses. So that's something that I want to dive into more. It's taken me a while to be able to work well with spray paint. It's actually been a newer exploration for myself. I've probably been really seriously trying to use it for the past 3 or 4 years. So it's intimidating to use that medium for portraits in specific because it is a very chaotic and hard to control medium. When you push the nozzle on the spray paint, it really just does blast out. So there's an aspect of learning to control that's difficult, but there is a freedom to it, and it has a very soft, airbrushy look. I think that there's something about simplicity and directness that I was trying to go for. I typically get asked to do murals that represent the community, and in a lot of ways, I put too much information into it. I usually end up painting a dozen people, and it takes me a long time. I think my goal for this one was to keep things simple and iconic. So the process that I used to get the feedback and to engage the community was to ask for community nominations for particularly women leaders in the area that they wanted to highlight. And I got a very, very enthusiastic response to nominations, and I was really able to understand the neighborhood very well. Part of my responsibility was to choose who was featured on the wall, which was a difficult process, but in the end, part of it was choosing people who got several nominations and who seemed to be popping up a lot. And then also it ended up that I knew 3 out of 4 of the people personally, and that made it easier for me to really engage with who I was painting and then build somewhat of a relationship and understanding with them as well, which I really liked. But I think 3 out of 4 of them are first generation immigrants who moved to the Portland area and are very well established and finding their home and place here. And I think that there was a lot of gratitude for acknowledging that they're here. And it was also meaningful for the communities that they were a part of to have the community leaders represented in that way.
My name is Lisha Shrestha. I'm the Executive Director of Division Midway Alliance. I have been working with this organization for about 5 years now. Through our programs at DMA, we help creating healthier neighborhoods. So our goal is to create social resiliency and economic development opportunities for our BIPOC, low-income communities who live in East Portland. I live a couple of blocks away from the mural art, so it feels amazing. I feel there is a sense of pride within me, to see my work being recognized, and it feels there is a community support for all the work that we do through Division Midway Alliance.
My name is Halima Alinor. I work with ICO, African Youth Community Organization. ICO is a nonprofit organization that focuses on uplifting, educating, and providing resources. Majority of our clients are from Africa, they're immigrants. The barrier that is creating is a language barrier and lack of education. So providing them with resources, translations, paperwork, and providing them with services. I was a community engagement lead and then now officially transitioned into my new position as a health and educational manager, promoting health and educating our community about health. It feels an honor to be in the mural. I drive every day to be a leader. A lot of my communities don't see African women being a leader. Being posted there means a lot to me because I live in Southeast and the mural represents the hard work that I've been doing within our community for the past 3 years.
My name is Olina Borova and I'm Implementation Manager working for the Community Investment Trust powered by Mercy Corps nonprofit. The community in general is really diverse here and I love working with immigrants because I'm one of them too. We are right now at Plaza 122, which is the pilot project for the Community Investment Trust. Over 300 families who live in this neighborhood, they invest in this project. So they are empowered to go visit these small businesses, to support them. And this is that sort of networking and empowerment in the community. So Alex Chiu, he's very active community member and we interact a lot through my work. When I saw the final look, because it was first in black and white and he works so fast and it was also raining at this time and all the portraits, they were so accurate. I mean, people resemble really who they are and me being in this Slavic outfit which represents my culture, it was so sensitive. It's just living in the neighborhood, working in the neighborhood and being appreciated, and this gives such a feeling of belonging for me that it gives even me the goosebumps even right now. It's such an honor that I feel home right now in this new country and Portland feels home for me right now.
My name is Diana and I am the owner here at Sophistication, which I do customs and apparel. I've lived in the neighborhood for 19 and a half years. There was a need for these clothes up in the community to kind of keep our culture alive and the Chicano culture, the lowrider scene. The community here, they're tight-knit and we all support each other. And I look forward to being around here in the community for a really long time. And I hope the store is very successful and that I get to meet more businesses in the neighborhood and more neighbors as they come out and support all of our businesses. I was first approached by Alex Chiu asking how I felt about being a part of the mural, and obviously I was honored. It was a very both proud and humbling experience at the same time. He's an amazing artist. I've seen a lot of his work and I was just in awe watching the process, and I think it's a beautiful thing that he did and I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
I was apprehensive as I was painting in such a public area. In particular, there's a lot of foot traffic. There's a bus stop that's right next to the wall where people are constantly congregating at all times. So a lot of times I get nervous about a lot of public interactions. It's not always positive necessarily, but as I started painting, I was actually really enjoyed it. And I had a lot of good energy come with cars honking at me to say, hey, you're doing a great job. I mean, as the buses were stopping at the bus stop, I know that one particular bus driver just took his time to walk to me and said, like, oh, I really love this so much. Like, I just started driving by and saw you working on it, and every day it's getting better and better, and I just really appreciate that. And I've had a number of people who really sincerely had those things to say to me. 2 or 3 members in the community, strangers that I just met on a day-to-day basis, were buying me drinks as they were going to 7-Eleven. So I was getting like 2 or 3 sodas or coffees every day, and that just felt really good. I do live in the area, and I want to feel like I'm a part of the community, so it gave me an opportunity to understand my neighborhood better and understand the culture of where I'm living right now. I'm very, very proud of how the mural came out, and I think I did a very good job of skin tone and really capturing a softness to the image. I'm still working on my likeness. It could have been more accurate to what they look like, but I think I did a good job where everyone felt like they were represented well and were recognizable to people. So I'm happy that I was able to do that with the portraits. And everyone who was painted on the mural actually lives really close, like within walking distance to the mural. So everybody tells me that they see their portrait every day, and it's really changed their attitude about the neighborhood and their sense of belonging. And I think in terms of what I was trying to get out of the project, like connecting to the neighborhood and feeling like I was a part of the community, the local community, it really did feel like that was happening, and I was building those relationships. That particular part of the neighborhood had a harshness to it. It needed some artwork there, and I know that was the idea of why they even asked me to do it. That area in particular was getting hit with a lot of graffiti and constantly had to be monitored. And it seems like as I was painting it, there was a full acceptance of the fact that I was painting images there and people appreciated it. And I'm just really thankful that I've been given the opportunity to do this. Like when I drive by and it feels like I'm contributing to the actual landscape of a neighborhood and changing the feeling of it. The immigrant and refugee population sometimes gets marginalized and not put at the forefront of the community. And I think that there's a lot of good work in terms of making sure that folks feel like they have a place in the neighborhood and resources for themselves. So that's an aspect that I just want to make sure was highlighted in the East Portland area. And also there's this idea that sometimes certain vulnerable populations get over time get pushed out of a neighborhood as things develop. And I just want to make sure that I can be a part of strengthening and building a history of the neighborhood of people who are thriving and doing well, and then trying to put an emphasis on the work that they do so that their legacy is known in the area and that there's some more cultural roots in the neighborhood so that it's harder to push people out of the neighborhood, so that we can visibly see who lives here right now and that there's strength to their images, there's strength to their legacy here as East Portland continues to develop and possibly it starts to change, the landscape starts to change. Really, this work has taught me that everyone has a really important and interesting story, but not a lot of people get asked to share their story. So for me to be given the privilege to do public artwork and to highlight just local everyday people, it's a real honor for me to do, and it's a real privilege.